Hello friends, welcome to our next video in the series. Today we'll be discussing questions from paper 2 of LDCE exam 2023. Earlier we discussed question number 1 to 20. In this video we will be discussing question number 101 to 120. So let's begin. So the question 101 says, in the context of GFR, consider the following statements regarding setting up of autonomous organizations. For this, we have to go to page number 63 of GFR rules. Rule 229. So the first statement is, stringent criteria should be followed for setting up of new autonomous organizations and the type of activities to be undertaken by them. So yes, this is correct as per rule 229 subpara 3. Second statement says all autonomous organizations should be encouraged to maximize generation of internal resources and eventually attain self-sufficiency. This is also correct as per subpara 4. The ministry or department may consider creating a corpus fund for an autonomous body only with the prior concurrence of Ministry of Finance, irrespective of the source of funds for creating such a corpus. So, this statement is incorrect because it is a condition. If the corpus is created out of budgetary allocation, then it can be created not irrespective of source of funds. So, statement 3 is wrong. Hence, the right answer is 1 and 2 only, which is A. Next question. In the context of mode of disposal, what is the threshold assessed residual value of surplus goods above which they should be disposed of either by obtaining bids through advertised tender or public auction? So now in revised GFR rules, lot of limits have been changed. Generally, the limits have been increased to a double amount. For example, single quotation, you can buy goods up to 50,000. For going through purchase committee route, you can buy goods and services up to 5 lakh rupees and so on. So for this question, we have to refer to page number 54. Rule number 218 on mode of disposal. So as per this rule, the value should be rupees 4 lakh as per latest GFR. So this answer is also correct as per the previous GFR. But in future, you should remember that 4 lakh is the right answer for assessing residual value. Question number 103. As per GFR, to safeguard against bidders withdrawing or altering its bids during the bid validity period, in the case of advertised or limited tender inquiry, bid security, which is also known as earnest money, is to be obtained from bidders except certain specific categories of bidders. What is the period for which bid securities normally remain valid beyond the final bid validity period? So for this, we will go to page number 42. Rule number 170 on bid security. So it says why we obtain bid security and who are exempted, like MSMEs. So amount of bid security should be between 2 to 5%, and the bid security remain valid for a period of 45 days beyond the final bid validity period. So option B is the right answer. Now the next question is on GFR, GEM rules, Government E-Marketplace. So in terms of general terms and conditions on GEM, what is mandatory minimum discount on the maximum retail price to be offered by the sellers on GEM? So for this question, we have to refer to a different source, which is GEM PDF on terms and conditions. Let's see that source. So now the terms and conditions on GEM 4.0 were released on 6 September 2024. So as per para 6 of this PDF, it says that sellers shall offer a minimum discount of 10% on MRP mandatorily on GEM marketplace unless otherwise specified. So that makes option B as the right answer, which is 10%. Next question is also on GEM portal. In the case of procurement of automobiles through government marketplace, the ceiling of direct purchase will be. So for this we will go to this GFR rules again on page 34. So in the case of automobiles, procurement under this sub rule is permitted without any ceiling limit. So all the options are wrong in this question. If you refer key of UPSC also, UPSC has not specified any answer to this question. So most students will be getting the bonus marks, but this question will not be counted for calculation of marks. But the right answer is that there is no limit in case of automobiles. Next question is, which one of the following is a device intended to facilitate the designated officer thereof to credit receipts into the and effect withdrawals directly from the account, subject to an overall check being exercised by the bank in which the account is authorized to be opened? So we have to refer to Rule 96 in this case. As per Rule 96, personal deposit account is a device. Option B is the right answer. Next question is 107. In terms of provisions of CFR 2017, what is the value beyond which all losses of common property due to suspected fire, theft, fraud, etc. shall be invariably reported to the police for investigation as early as possible? So for this we have to refer to Rule 34. Rule 34 is on loss of common property due to fire, theft and fraud. So here the limit is rupees 50,000. So option C is the right answer. Next question. Consider the following statements in the context of guidelines on debarment of firms from bidding by a single ministry or department. So for this we have to refer to a document on guidelines of debarment. Let's see what is given in the document. So this document on guidelines of debarment, in para 4, the conditions for debarment by a single ministry and department have been given. In point number H, it is mentioned that Ministry Department will maintain list of debarred firms which will also be displayed on its website. So option statement 1 is the right option. And debarment is an executive function and should not be allocated to Vigilance Department. So for this we have refer to point number I, which is also right. Debarment is an executive function and should not be allocated to Vigilance Department. Statement 3 says that it shall be circulated to other ministries' departments. Now it is saying in point number D of the guidelines that it shall not be circulated to the ministries' departments. It will be only applicable to the attached subordinate offices, CPSUs, under the ministry. So statement C is incorrect. Statement 4, Secretary of Ministry Department may nominate an officer of the rank of Director as competent authority to bar the firms. Again, an officer of the rank of JS or above is the competent authority to bar the firms. So option 4 is also incorrect. So now in question we have been asked which of the statements given above are not correct. So clearly statement 3 and statement 4 are not correct. So right answer will be C. Let's move on to next question. Question number 109. In the context of QCBS, which is Quality and Cost Based Evaluation Selection, used for procurement of consultancy services, where quality of consultation is of prime concern, the weightage of technical parameters in non-financial That is non-financial parameters in no case should exceed how much percentage. So for that we have to refer to rule number 192 of GFR. So rule number 192 explains what is QCBS procedure and the weightage of non-technical parameters in no case should exceed 80%. So option D is the right answer. Question number 110. As per GFR, the retention period of cash books maintained by DDO under central government account revenue receipts and payment rules is how much years? How many years? For this we have to refer to Appendix 9. Appendix 9 retention schedule is described. So cash books maintained by DDO has to be retained for 10 years before destruction. So right answer will be option C. Next question is on duties of internal financial advisors. Which of the following are duties of IFD? IFAs: to watch the settlement of audit objection, inspection reports, draft etc., to screen the proposals for supplementary demands for grants, to scrutinize proposals for delegation of powers to subordinate authorities, to screen all expenditure proposals required to be referred to MOF for concurrence. So friends, for this question, we want you to tell us the right answer. Right answer, as you can see, is marked as D, but we want you to tell the source of this question. After a few days, we will be posting the right answer in the comment box. But before that, we want you to come up with the right answer, the source of the right answer. Let's move to the next question. Now we are beginning with DFPR. So for DFPR, we will refer to the official DFPR PDF by Ministry of Finance. Which of the following statements regarding creation of post is correct? Statement 1. All powers with respect to creation of posts delegated under DFPR stand withdrawn. So for that we will refer to page number 106. This says that para 2.2 says any specific exemption allowed to any ministry or department on creation of post is also withdrawn except for delegations contained in Appendix 1. So option 1 is the statement 1, the right statement. Second, the competent authority to create post below JS level is Finance Minister. So for that we will refer to para 3.5, which says that post below SAG level, that is pay level 14, which is for JS, approving authority will be Department of Expenditure, which is under Ministry of Finance. So option statement 2 is also the right statement. The post falling into the category of deemed abolished can be filled with prior revival approval from the Department of Expenditure. So for that we will refer to para 5.2, subpara 5. Post may be revived with prior approval of DOE. So statement 3 is also right. So all three statements are right, and the right answer is option D. Question number 113. Which of the following are covered under the general restrictions relating to appropriation and reappropriation of funds in terms of Delegation of Financial Power Rules 1978? So for that we will go to page number 13. Rule number 10 on appropriation and reappropriation. So statement 1 says appropriation of funds to meet expenditure not sanctioned by a competent authority. So we are talking about general restrictions here. So statement 1 is covered under para 2. Funds shall not be appropriated or reappropriated to meet expenditure which has not been sanctioned by an authority competent to sanction it. So statement 1 is right. Reappropriation of funds provided for charge expenditure to meet whatever expenditure. So subpara 4 says that this is also right. Statement 3, reappropriation of funds from one grant for charge expenditure to another grant for charge expenditure. This is also right because no appropriation shall be made from one grant of appropriation for charge to another grant for charge expenditure. Statement 4, appropriation of funds to meet expenditure on a new service not contemplated in the budget approved by Parliament. So for this, the first restriction is this only, that it won't be allowed to meet expenditure on new service which was not contemplated in the budget. So all these statements are right, and the correct answer is D, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Next question, 114. Consider the following statements regarding primary units of appropriation in the context of DFPR. So we also call primary unit of appropriation as by another word, which is called standard object heads. So for that we'll refer to rule 8. Para 1 says a grant or appropriation is distributed by standard object heads, and each standard object head constitutes a primary unit of appropriation. The primary unit of appropriation is a low unit of accounting classification. Para 2 says this primary unit may include provision for both voted and charge expenditure. So now let's go back to the question. Statement 1 says it includes provision for voted expenditure only. So this only is dangerous, which is incorrect here. It's wrong. Then second statement, provision for charge expenditure only. This is also wrong. Statement 3 says provision for both voted and charge. So now yes, this is right. Statement 3 is right. Statement 4 says salaries constitute primary unit of appropriation. So to see what are the primary unit of appropriations, we have to go to this annexure 1 at page number 32. So that's the first head itself is salaries. So we have a lot of primary unit of appropriations like wages, rewards, medical treatment allowances, LDCE training, so on and so forth. So salary is also a primary unit, so this is also right. Hence the right answer is option 3 and 4. If you apply some logical skills to answer this question, you can see that option 1 and 2 or option 3 can be true. I mean to say that either option 1 and 2 will be right or option 3 will be right. 1 and 3 or 2 and 3 cannot be right together. So if you know that option 1 is wrong, you can directly remove 1 and 2 from the list of options. Let's move on to the next question, which is 115. So under DFPR, HOD have powers to declare any gazetted officer subordinate to them as head of office for purpose of these rules. So now rule 12 of new DFPR covers this question. So rule 12 says power of subordinate authorities. So where HOD can declare any gazetted officer subordinate to them as head of office. And rule number 12, subpara number 4. So we have to mark rule 12 as the right answer if this question is asked again in the future. In the previous DFPR, this was given as rule number 14. So right option is C. Next question. Consider the following statements in the context of DFPR. A gazetted officer authorized by head of office serving under him to incur contingent expenditure on his behalf shall be responsible for correctness, regularity, and propriety of the expenditure. So this statement is incorrect, as we all know that the person who is delegating or the person who is authorized to do the expenditure delegates the power to a subordinate. He or she himself remains responsible for the correctness of the expenditure. So statement 1 is incorrect. Statement 2, authorizing section officer to sign sanctions for petty contingent expenditure amounts to delegation under the Delegation of Financial Power Rules 1978. So this statement is not covered in the new DFPR, and this statement is also wrong. Statement 3, Department of Central Government whom powers are delegated by the President shall not have powers to waive the recovery relating to a gazetted government servant. So for that we will go to rule number 19, rule number 12, para 2. So it says that provided that no power under this sub-rule shall be redelegated by a department in respect of waiver of recovery of overpayment made to common servants. So option statement 3 also says that not have powers to waive the recoveries, and this is right. Department does not have powers to waive the recoveries in these three cases, one of which is given in statement 3, and statement 3 is the right statement. As even if we eliminate option 1, we'll be left with only two options, which is 3 only and 2 only, and we know that option statement 3 is the right statement, so the right answer comes to B. So we have to use a mix of elimination and selection techniques to reach out to the right answer. We may not be knowing all the options, but we need to take risk, calculated risk based on reasoning and logic to score high marks in exam. So let's move to the next question. In terms of DFPR, departments of central government have full powers to sanction sale or dismantlement of purely temporary structures. In this context, a purely temporary structure means a structure the life of which is not more than X years. So let's see what is the age of temporary structures as per GFR rules, DFPR rules. So the explanation given in the rule 19 says that for the purpose of this rule, a temporary structure means a structure the life of which is not more than 2 years. So option A is the right answer. Let's go to question 118. In terms of DFPR, the permanent ceiling of office expenditure on hospitality in the case of cabinet secretary is. So again, the right answer is 23,000 Indian rupees. We would like you to post the source of this question in the comments box. Next question is 119. Which of the following statements regarding admissibility of LTC is correct? So now last two questions of this PDF are LTC rules. Let's open the official source on LTC rules to answer these questions. So the question is asked that which of the following statements regarding admissibility of LTC is correct. Statement 1 is fresh recruits to central government are allowed to travel to their hometown along with their families on 3 occasions in a period of 4 years and to any place in India on 4th occasion. So I think this is a very basic provision which you might be aware of. Many of you must have obtained LTCs. On page 5 in para 13, it says that fresh recruits to central government allowed to travel to their hometown along with their family on 3 occasions in a block of 4 years and to any place in India on 4th occasion. The second one is right. A government servant under suspension is also entitled to avail himself of the LTC along with his family members. So this is covered in the CCA rules. As per that, a government servant cannot claim LTC for himself, but his family members can claim LTC. So statement 2 is incorrect. Within the block within the same block, when one of the same LTC is being availed of by a government servant and his family members separately, encashment of leave would be admissible on both the occasions. No, this is incorrect. Encashment is not tied to two occasions, and for one same block, only one encashment will be allowed. Let's see what is given in the rule. So as per OM dated 9th February 2015, it says that a government servant governed by CCSD rules are entitled to avail LTC can encash up to 10 days at a time of availing both type of LTCs at his hometown or anywhere in India. However, when this one and the same LTC is being availed by a government servant and his family members separately in a block year, encashment of leave would be restricted to one occasion only. Hence, statement 3 is the wrong statement. So, we are left with only one statement, which is statement 1, and the right answer is B. The last question of this PDF is, whose concurrence shall be required to dispense with or relax the requirement of any of the LTC rules when operation of any of these rules causes undue hardship in particular case. So for this, we'll go to Rule 18 on page 12, which speaks about the power to relax LTC rules. So it says that where any ministry or department of government is satisfied that the operation of any of these rules causes undue hardship in any particular case, that ministry or department, as the case may be, for reasons about in writing, dispense with or relax the requirement of that rule to such extent and to such exception and conditions as is considered necessary for dealing with the case in a just and equitable manner. And it also writes in bold that no such order shall be made except with the concurrence of DOPT. So yes, ministry or department can relax, but concurrence of DOPT is mandatory. Hence, option B will be the right option, Department of Personnel and Training.